Welcome to Salient Training's Job Aid videos. Today we're taking you through the process of upgrading a version 6 CompleteView deployment to version 7. CompleteView version 7 has a lot of improvements under the hood, including Salient Cloud Services, flexible storage, unified login, web views, enhanced playback features, easier integrations, and as always, our scalability to meet any need. Let's take a look at a checklist with all the upgrade steps. As you can see, there's a lot of steps to the list, but most of these items are pre-upgrade and management server details, which means you'll only have to do them once per deployment. When those are out of the way, the rest of the upgrade is pretty simple and involves backing up your recording server configs, pushing the software update through maintenance, and migrating your recording server volumes to storage pools. Let's start with the first two items on the checklist: minimum system requirements and making sure your deployment is at the proper release version to do a version 7 upgrade. So let's get started. Here we have a list of Salient's recommended minimum system requirements for software and hardware. For the software, since you're upgrading, a lot of these are already installed and running on your systems. For the changes between versions, we've included the necessary prerequisites with our installers, so you don't have to worry about those. On the hardware side, the requirements are pretty simple, but keep in mind that meeting the minimums to run CompleteView is just a starting point. Your hardware has a direct impact on the number of cameras that can be smoothly run on a system, and also your experience when viewing video with the client. The more robust your hardware configuration is, the more cameras you can record, live view, and playback simultaneously. So let's move on to the CompleteView version requirements. Before you upgrade your deployment to version 7, your management server, recording servers, and desktop clients must be running either version 6.1.2, 6.1.3, or 6.1.4 of CompleteView. If you are at any other previous version, make sure you upgrade your deployment to one of these before attempting to install version 7 of CompleteView. Salient recommends always keeping your deployment at the same version of software, but at a minimum, the management server and the desktop clients must be the same version and should be equal to or a later version than the recording servers. Let's head back to our checklist. All right, the first two items on our list are done, so we can check those off. Next, we need to request the recording server feature key from Salient for version 7 and storage pools, and then we'll add those keys to our recording server. So let's get going on that. Requesting feature keys from Salient is a simple process, and while we're only doing a single server upgrade in this video, we have a licensed distribution utility video that will show you how to streamline the process when you need to add feature keys to all your recording servers at once. Now, to get your feature keys for a version 7 upgrade, send an email to licensing@salientsys.com. In that email, include your recording server product ID and request keys to unlock the version 7 release you're upgrading to and for storage pools. Typical turnaround time on feature key requests is usually under 2 hours, but key requests for all servers in a large deployment may take longer. Once you receive your feature keys from Salient, it's time to add them to your recording server. Log into your management server with the desktop client, and once there, select the Configure module. Once you're into Configure, locate the recording server tree, extend it down, and then select the recording server that you want to upgrade. This opens up the Edit Server screen. On the Edit Server screen, you'll see your license information, your product ID, and all of your current feature keys. This is where we're going to add our two new feature keys that you received from Salient. Copy and paste those keys into this box right here, and then select Add. Do the same for the second key that you received once the first finishes. Here's my second key, select Add. You'll notice the two new feature keys are shown down here, unknown feature. This is because version 6 doesn't really know what version 7 is, so that's normal. Once you've got those two keys in, go ahead and save that configuration. And now this portion is done. Let's head back to the checklist and mark it off. All right, we've requested, received, and added our feature keys, so we can mark those off. The next step is to back up the management server database using the SQL Server Management Studio. So let's get started on that one. If you don't already have it, download and install SQL Server Management Studio, or SSMS, from Microsoft. The link below will take you directly to the download, https://aka.ms/ssms full setup. It's a Microsoft link, so make sure you download that and install it because we're going to use that to do our database backups. Backing up the database is a straightforward process. The first step is opening SSMS. Once SSMS opens, you'll see a Connect to Server screen where you're going to connect to your database instance being used by CompleteView. You should be able to use Windows authentication, but if that's not an option, switch to SQL Server authentication and then enter in a username and password with administrative rights to the database server. Once you're connected, you'll see an Object Explorer on the left-hand side. In this window, you'll want to locate the database tree, click on the plus sign to extend it down. We're looking for the CompleteView database, which is right here. Right-click on that CompleteView database, go down to Tasks, and in the menu that pops out, select Backup. This is going to open up the Backup database screen. You'll want to verify that your information is correct. Make sure it's the CompleteView database. You're doing a full backup. The component selection is database. And then you can leave it to the disk backup in the default location, or you can change it to a location of your choice. Once you've verified your settings, select OK to begin the backup. And once it finishes, you'll see a notification. Go ahead and complete the process by selecting OK, and your database is now backed up. I have the File Explorer open here. This is that backup of my database. I just saved in the default location. If you change the folder, it's going to go wherever you put it, but that'll be your backup. So this task is done. Let's head back to the checklist and mark it off. All right, the management server database backup is complete, so that can be checked off. And next up is to back up the recording server configuration files. So let's get to it. To back up the recording server configuration, you'll need to connect to your recording server either locally or through RDP or another method. Once you've connected to the recording server, open your File Explorer. In the File Explorer, you're going to navigate to the CompleteView Recording Server Installation directory. That's in C, Program Files, Salient Security Platform, CompleteView 2020, and Recording Server. Now, once you're in the Recording Server directory, you're looking for 3 files. They're listed on the video here. I like to sort by type. That makes it a lot easier to locate. Once I've done that, I scroll down, and these are the files I'm looking for. It's these CVWX files. I'm going to select all 3 files, right-click, choose Copy. You can also do the Control-C. And then I'm going to put them someplace safe. Now, you can put these on a USB drive, network location, anywhere that's going to have that preserved for you. I'm going to put it right here on my desktop, just paste those 3 files in, and there I have backed up my recording server config. So let's head back to the checklist, mark this off, and move on from there. Okay, the recording server configuration files are backed up, they're in a safe place, so those can be checked off. Next, we're going to download the version 7 installation files from the Salient website. So let's head over there. All right, to download your files, just open up your web browser and head to the Salient website, www.salientsys.com. And once you're on the main page, hover the support link, drop down to Software Downloads and select that. That will bring us to the Software Downloads page. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the different release versions that we have available. You can select the version 7 that you want. And the files that you'll be downloading, number 1 is the management server. You'll need that. Number 2 will be the recording server bin file, because we're going to use the maintenance module in the client to push the update to our recording server, so you'll need this bin file. And then the last one you'll want to download is the version 7 client. So grab those 3 files, save them in a safe location, and we'll move on to the next part of our checklist, which is installing the management server. All right, we're installing the management server. So open up the folder wherever you downloaded those installation files from Salient. And then we're going to right-click on our management server installer, choose Run as Administrator. The first screen you'll get is a language selection. You can choose any of the localized languages we have available for your install. Select Next on that. If you're missing any of the prerequisites that we need, you will find them, and it's going to prompt you to install. Go ahead and select Next there. You can see that I need the .NET runtime updated for the management server, so I'm going to allow that to install. Just select Next. The next screen is our end user license agreement. Go ahead and accept that. And then we have our default directory. Go ahead and choose Install. This brings us to our SQL Server connection. The information should already be populated. Since this is an upgrade, it's pulling it from your management server configs, and it fills everything in. Go ahead and select Install on that. It's going to ask you if it's okay to close the service that's running for the version 6 management server. We're going to allow that. Choose OK on this. And when the install finishes, go ahead and select that. That's going to close out our installation. You're also going to see another window pop open. This is our database migration utility. This is automatically going to run when you upgrade from version 6 to version 7. So we have to go through this because we changed our database schema between those versions. You'll want to make sure that everything is selected correctly here, that this is the instance that you're using. The database name this should all auto-populate. So go ahead and select Next. It's going to ask you to verify the destination database. This is the version 7 database name. So we're going to migrate everything from the CompleteView database into the new schema in the CompleteView VMS. Go ahead and select Next. And on this screen, it's going to give you a summary. At the very bottom, it's going to ask you to verify that you have made a backup of the CompleteView database. And that's what we did in one of the earlier steps. So go ahead and check that box and select Migrate. Last time here, it's just that final verification. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Yes, we are. Go ahead and select that. And on this screen, it's going to do a readiness check. You can see I've already passed that with success, and now it's migrating all of that information from my version 6 database into the new table formats and everything in the version 7 database. So this may take a few minutes. Go ahead and let it run, and when it's finished, we'll come back to it. All right, as you can see here now, the database has finished the migration. If I want to view the log, I can. That's going to be saved locally, but go ahead and select Exit on that. And this portion is done. You have now successfully upgraded your version 6 management server to a version 7. So let's go update the checklist. All right, the management server has been installed and we completed the database migration, so those items can be marked off. Now the next step is installing the version 7 desktop client. The desktop client needs to be updated on all PCs that are used to access CompleteView. For now, run the version 7 desktop client installer on the system you're using to connect to CompleteView. This will update your version 6 client and allow you to log into the version 7 management server so we can complete the process of updating the recording server via push updates. You can pause the video here while you run the desktop client installer. Now that you have the desktop client installed, that can be checked off, and we're on to the final 4 steps of the process. Next up is logging into your version 7 management server with the version 7 client and pushing a save to the recording server. Then we will push the version 7 update to the recording server from the maintenance module. And finally, we'll migrate the recording server from volumes to storage pools. So let's get this update finished. Okay, we're on the last 4 steps of our version 7 update. Go ahead and open up your desktop client that you installed. And once there, you may see your IP. You might see localhost. Go ahead and put in the IP of your management server and then log in with administrative credentials. Once you're logged in, the first thing we're going to do is select the configure module and choose the recording server that we added those feature keys to and ready to update, and just push a save to that recording server. Make sure that everything is good, that the feature keys are updated for the maintenance module. We want to see that successfully pushed changes. Once you've done that, what we're going to do next is go into that push update. So select your maintenance module. And in the maintenance module, you see a list of all of your recording servers. The one that we're looking for in this case is RS1. You can see that we have that version 7 feature key. That's what you're looking for on this update. So what you'll do is select that recording server, and then right down on the bottom, you're going to choose Update. This is going to open up a Windows File Explorer where we can navigate and locate that bin file that we downloaded. So here's my recording server bin. I select it, and once I choose Open, this is going to start the update process. You'll see everything updating over here on the right-hand side. It's sending that binary update. Once it's there, it's going to validate that file, and it's going to run that install. So just let this complete. All right, as you can see, we have finished our update. This update says it was a success. It's gone through and resynced the management server. So the very final step that we have on this system now is going back into Configure and then selecting that recording server once more. You'll notice that now we are currently running that version 7. It's right here. And down at the bottom, you'll see that we have that storage pools. So we now have the option to migrate our recording server volumes to the new version 7 storage pools. This is something we want to do. So you'll select that. It's going to come up with a screen that asks you, sure you want to proceed. Just keep in mind it's a one-time operation. There is no going back for this. You can't roll it back to volumes. So you're going to want to select the yes on this. And that's going to update your recording options from volumes to our new storage pools with all the advanced storage features we have available. And you'll notice over here on the left now, instead of volumes, we now have storage in our 3 storage types: regular, archive, and backup pools. All right, that is it for our checklist. We're just going to go take one more look at it, and then we're going to close this out. So stay tuned. Okay, the last 4 items on our list are complete, and we can finish our checklist. Now in this video, we upgraded 1 management server, 1 desktop client, and 1 recording server. As I mentioned before, all of your desktop clients will need to be upgraded to the same version as your management server, and that can be done with the EXE or MSI download from Salient. Any additional recording servers in your deployment can be upgraded by adding the version 7 feature keys, backing up the recording server configs, pushing the update to them from the maintenance module, and finishing with the migration to storage pools. If you found this video helpful, follow us for more job aid and tech tip videos. If you have an idea for a future video, let us know by sending an email to training@salientsys.com. Thanks for watching.